Dear students, I am your teacher Sanmati Dhanavde, BA Part 3rd, Special English, Language and Linguistics, Semester 5, Paper 11. So today's topic is speech mechanism. We need to understand how we produce sounds, how we can speak. So for that, we have to take into consideration the biology of your body, the anatomy of our body. Here is the picture of our speech or speech of organs or the organs of speech. So with the help of these organs we can produce our different sounds, we can speak something, we can use language. Okay, so what is the system actually? The act that is commonly known as respiration involves two processes: taking outer air into the lungs, it is called as inspiration, and throwing out air from the lungs into the outer atmosphere, it is called as expiration. It is the expiratory lungs that is the air that we breathe out, that is the basis for the articulation of most speech sounds. For this reason, the airstream involving lung air is called pulmonic airstream. An airstream is produced by an airstream mechanism. There are three main airstream mechanisms. These are called pulmonic, glottalic, and velaric airstream mechanism. Organs of speech. There are various organs of speech, but which can be divided into three following groups. Number one, the respiratory system. This comprises the lungs, the muscles of the chest, and the windpipe. The windpipe is also called as trachea. Trachea, trachea. Number two, the phonatory system. This comprises the larynx. Number three, the articulatory system. This comprises the nose, the teeth, the tongue, the roof of the mouth, and the lips. So we can basically roughly divide our whole organs of speech into these three categories. We can see in the picture from top to down, there is nasal cavity, then teeth ridge, hard palate, soft palate, then lips, teeth, then the part of the tongue, that is the blade, front, back, then the root, pharynx, uvula, epiglottis, food pipe, windpipe, larynx, and vocal cords. All these organs of speech are really important to produce any kind of a speech sound. Fine. But specifically, when we are uttering a typical sound, we are using certain organs of speech. At certain point of time, certain organs we are moving. For example, we move our jaw, the lower jaw, we move our tongue, but we cannot really move the upper jaw, or we cannot really move our larynx or the vocal cords. These things will be constant over there, and few parts will shake, few parts will move. So accordingly, moving parts we have stricture. The stricture involved, the term stricture refers to the way in which the passage of air is restricted by the various organs of speech. When we are breathing out, we are throwing the air out and making a typical sound, and that air is getting invaded, or that air is facing some kind of a blockage with the help of certain organs of speech. That whole phenomena is called as stricture. So there are certain types of strictures. We will study it one by one. Number one, complete closure and sudden release. There are certain sounds, for example, k, kh, g, gh, t, th, d, th, d, dh, p, f, b, bh. These are the plosive ones. Sounds produced with a stricture of complete closure and sudden release is called as plosives. The initial sounds in the English words pin, bin, tin, din, kin, and gun are plosives. So the Devanagari symbols for k, that is kin, it is k. The number two, complete closure and slow release. Sounds that are produced with a stricture of complete closure and slow release are called affricates. The initial sounds in the English words chin and jam are affricate consonants. Chin, jam. Number 3. Complete oral closure. Sounds that are articulated with a stricture of complete oral closure are called nasals. The final sound in the English words some, sun, and sung are some examples of nasal consonants. The sounds represented by the Devanagari symbols d, n, n, m. Number 4. Intermittent closure. Sounds that are articulated with a stricture of intermittent closure are called trills or rolled consonants. The letter R, R in English words like red and ran. The soft palate is raised, thereby shutting off the nasal passage of air. Then we have taps, also known as flaps. For some consonants, the active articulator strikes against the passive articulator just once and then quickly flaps forward. Such consonants are called as taps or flaps. The letter R in very is pronounced as a tap by some English people. The sound represented by the Devanagari letter D is a flap, as in sadi. For the T in the water, the tongue tip is thrown in a ballistic motion and only grazes the alveolar ridge in passing. This kind of a very fast T is called a tap. The IPA symbol for it is R, essentially an R without the serif at the top left hand corner. Then we have close approximation. Sounds that are articulated with a stricture of close approximation are called fricatives. The initial sounds in the English words five, wine, thin, then, sip, zip, sheep, and hat are fricatives. The sounds represented by the Devanagari letters S, Sh, W, H. Then we have partial closure. Sounds that are articulated with a stricture of complete closure in the center of the vocal tract but with the air escaping along the sides of the tongue without any friction are called laterals. The initial sound in the English word love is a lateral. The Marathi sound represented by the letter L, L, bar, L is lateral. Open approximation. The soft palate is raised, thereby shutting off the nasal passage of air. If the active articulator is brought close to the passive articulator so that the gap between them is wide, the air will escape through this gap without any friction. Sounds that are articulated with a stricture of open approximation are called frictionless, continuants, and semivowels. The sound represented by the Devanagari letter V, V as in vazan. The initial sound in the English words yes and wet are also examples of approximants. These used to be referred to as semi-vowels. It is referred as semi-vowel. So here we have completed the stricture point. In your examination, there will be question that you have to write three-term labels of a particular sound. For that reason, you have to know how we can utter a word and how the articulators work. What is the passive articulator? What is the active articulator? Secondly, when you are producing a certain sound, how the air is passing from the vocal cords to your mouth, and accordingly we also need to know that how a particular sound is voiced or voiceless. It is also known as three-term label, so wherein we have to identify the sound, is it voiced or the voiceless, or how the sound is taking place to get out of your mouth, that is place of articulation, and the manner of articulation, how we are speaking, that whole phenomena will be termed as three term label, and in your exam you have to write that those three term labels. Here we have discussed about the basic diagram of speech mechanism, that is organs of speech, and various parts are there, the names are over there, and we have also discussed the structure, how we can use such organs and we can pass on the air to produce certain sound. Fine. Any questions? You can tell me about it. Thank you.